Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now January 5th of 2022, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2 and The Bad Batch, a lot of Star Wars fans around the world have truly been looking forward to what Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, George Lucas, and even Bob Chapek are all coming up with for the new Star Wars universe at heart. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So we're now in a very interesting time of Star Wars. We are officially entering the golden age of the franchise. We have a lot of shows like now with the Book of Boba Fett. We have, of course, Star Wars Andor, Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 3, and so on and so forth with Kenobi and Ahsoka. There's a lot of things really happening between Favreau, Filoni, and Lucas to really turn things around for the franchise, and Celebration is going to be key because at Star Wars Celebration of 2022, this May, that's going to be when they're going to unveil all of these new Star Wars projects, be it TV shows or movies at that. So on top of all of this, what's even all the more exciting has everything to do with the fact of what's going on between Jon Favreau, George Lucas, and others out there to really kind of just throw more of Star Wars Legends into the mix. We already know that Legends is going to make a big comeback, not just in the Book of Boba Fett later in the episodes, but also in The Mandalorian Season 3. It's going to really take a lot of inspiration from Star Wars Legends, and even the Ahsoka series. It's going to take a lot of elements from the Thrawn trilogy from the 1990s. So on top of all of this, what's even all the more intriguing has everything to do with what's going on behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm between Kathleen Kennedy, Leslie Headland, and George Lucas. Now, we already know that the Acolyte TV series is running into a lot of problems and has been for over a year now. So with both the Ahsoka and Acolyte series set to begin filming both in April of this year, Disney and Lucasfilm are also preparing to announce a handful of new Star Wars TV shows for Disney Plus this May at Star Wars Celebration. Now, further, it's described, however, that recently Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy created a terrible change to the Star Wars franchise that essentially erases something created by George Lucas and his vision for Star Wars at all. It's described that recently Kathleen Kennedy made some last-minute key changes while rewriting the Acolyte series with, of course, Leslie Headland, that's going to involve George Lucas and how it impacts one of George Lucas's creations in the Star Wars universe. One major change has to do with the fact that Kennedy made the decision to delete multiple scenes from the Acolyte script that she and Lucas had agreed on using for the show in the past. This, of course, is going to involve the Wills, who are godlike creatures of the Star Wars universe that watch over everything that takes place. These characters were created by George years ago and have recently been deleted from the series that was going to be crucial to the development of the High Republic's peak story. So let me just stop right here for a second. Now, it seems as though that a lot of fans tend to forget that the Acolyte series is indeed a High Republic TV show. Now, what Kathleen Kennedy recently did, which I still gotta say is unacceptable, I don't know why she goes out of her way to do things like this, but she made sure to delete an entire sequence from the Acolyte script that she and George Lucas had agreed on using in the actual TV show that was going to involve the Wills coming back, pretty much into the story. Now, the Wills have only been touched on in a very minor way before in past Star Wars lore, and this was going to be their first ever appearance in live-action form on a Disney Plus TV show. Now, yes, they are going to be appearing in the Ahsoka series, but they wanted to really explore the origin of the Wills in the Acolyte show, which sadly is something that we're no longer going to be getting, all because of Kathleen Kennedy. That's what George Lucas wanted to focus on. So, with the Ahsoka series, the Wills are just going to appear, but the Acolyte was going to tap more into the origin of these godlike creatures. Now, Kathleen Kennedy, I don't know why she tends to keep doing this. She has gone out of her way multiple times to backstab George Lucas. She makes all of these promises, she makes all of these claims that she wants to respect George Lucas's characters and creations, and then she does a complete 180 sometime later on, and just never understood it. It brings us way back to that famous 2013 interview where she said that she was going to take care of all those beloved characters in the sequel trilogy. Moving on. So Kennedy essentially wanted to get rid of anything related to George Lucas in the Acolyte series to prevent any potential risks that would impact her show's vision to start from scratch and shift away from Lucas. Now, this is something that George Lucas is not happy about at all with Kathleen Kennedy. It got to the point where Lucas will no longer even advise the new series and supervise the production anymore. Lucas had brought this up with the higher-ups over at Disney to discuss bringing the Wills back in the Acolyte series. However, Kennedy refuses to do that at all, given that it is her show and she holds full creative control. She also went on to delete an entire future vision scene in the series that was going to involve Anakin Skywalker that was also removed from the script. Lucas is also livid over the fact that Kennedy and Leslie are giving Yoda the Luke Skywalker treatment of how he was used in The Last Jedi that's now going to be applied in the Acolyte series. Something that comes off as extreme to the point that it could very well ruin the character in the show and create a terrible backlash from fans. Now, Yoda is set to do away with his Jedi beliefs by the end of the Acolyte TV series comes around, which is something that is very upsetting to Lucas right now, as it will have impacts on the Phantom Menace. Now, with that being said, of course, Leslie Headland is also going out of her way to create retcons big enough to change how fans view the Phantom Menace at the core, which is of course something of a concern, to say the least, to Lucas and Disney CEO Bob Chapek as well. Now, here's the other thing that I think a lot of fans absolutely need to be aware of, is the fact that we have seen Kathleen Kennedy going out of her way, not only getting rid of the Wills, also getting rid of Anakin Skywalker, and to top it all off, disrespecting the character of Yoda to extreme levels that I would have never even thought would happen. She's basically applying the concept of Luke Skywalker, of how he was used by Rian Johnson in The Last Jedi, and tying that directly to how Yoda's going to be used at the very end of the Acolyte series and how it ties into the Phantom Menace later on. First of all, it makes no sense because by the time you reach the Phantom Menace, Yoda is a part of the Jedi Council and the Order, without question. And there's no kind of form of him being very hesitant about the Jedi Order or anything like that of joining it. He's there, he's been established within that council for a very long time. So to me, it makes zero sense as to why he would denounce the Jedi Order and walk away from it by the end of the Acolyte for 60 to 80 years, and then magically in episode 1 he's just a part of the council. It just doesn't seem to make much sense. It seems like that Leslie and Kathleen are really trying to just use shock value to make their story more interesting. So, the series, which is still planned to release in 2023, has already gone through so many problems and setbacks to the point that it has a chance at getting cancelled if it keeps on getting delayed and costing Disney more and more money at the same time. Lucas, however, is now using the Wills in the Ahsoka series in order for John and Dave to experiment with all of that. So that's another good thing about the Ahsoka series, is that particular show, it's at least going to involve a big George Lucas creation that has been a mystery for so many decades that we're finally going to be able to see in this series come 2023. Full view of a live-action version of The Wills, I think, is magnificent to say the least. I think it's amazing. We're going to finally be able to see, what they have seen throughout the entire lifespan of the galaxy, and they're basically these creatures that have seen everything ranging from before and after the Skywalker saga. Basically all time and space is in control of the Wills. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.